Alright guys, Rich here from the RC Network, and this is going to be an update on my HPI Sprint 2 Sport that I'm converting into a halfway decent drift car. So there's lots of modifications and also upgrades I've added to this particular car to get it to drift well, and I'm going to basically be going over all of the different items that I've done to the car so far. Now I have lots of other things planned for this car, including lots of custom modifications, new body, tires, wheels, all sorts of things down the line. So please stay tuned to this series. I think it'll be very interesting. So as far as my goal with this was, I definitely liked the Porsche body that came with this Sprint 2 Sport. Now of course they have the drift version out there, which really the only difference between the Sport and the Drift are the tires that are on the car and the body it comes with. So I didn't particularly like any of the Drift versions, so I decided that I was just going to go cold turkey with this Falcon tire Sprint 2 Sport that I definitely enjoy. As far as some of the upgrades I've done, I'm going to go ahead and move the camera in so you guys can see up close and personal this car. Alright, and we're back now, and the first thing I wanted to show was definitely the wheels and tires. Now, the Sprint 2 Sport, the Falcon tire version right here, came with some very oddly offset wheels. To give you an idea, this is the 14mm offset rears that came on the car. To get just an off-the-shelf drift tire was a little bit tough, so I had to make my own. There's going to be a separate video on that, and that will be in the video description to check out. The biggest difference you'll see here is that these new tires don't quite fill up the wheel well as the stock grip tires. So just to give you an idea here, this is going to be the stock grip tire, and you can see there, definitely a larger tire all in all. So, but as far as the performance of these homemade ones, they're awesome. They definitely have the right amount of grip that I'm looking for a concrete surface, and they look good. So that's half the battle right there. As far as the internals of this thing, I'm going to go ahead and remove the body now. Internals of this thing have changed quite a bit. Pretty much all the electronics have been changed, and I've been really working on the setup of this car. So we're going to go from nose to rear on everything that's changed. So the first thing you're going to see there is you're going to see that new Way Front Diff. I went ahead and installed that, and that's probably been the biggest change to really get you drifting. Basically, the idea of a front way diff is if you were to tap the brakes, your front wheels are not going to brake and stop you in the middle of a drift. So the rear wheels are going to drive all the time, where the fronts will have this spinning action if you happen to stop. So that's basically a one-way front diff. The next thing that's changed is all of the ball cups have been switched over to RPM. Now there's lots of slop in the stock ball cups that came with this thing, so went ahead. I ended up having to purchase 2 sets of RPM ball cups. They're the 440 size, also link in the video description, and replaced all of those things out. Now the front end of this thing is super tight now. I have a little bit of wobble now, just only from the front steering bell cranks, but that's going to be replaced here soon too. Next thing down the line, I had this thing on hand, which I know is complete overkill, but it is a Savox SV1270 TG. I think this thing has like over 400 inch-ounces of torque, but it's a servo I had on hand. I didn't have to buy anything, and it went in here nicely. Obviously, it's overkill for it. It's super fast. It's super torquey, but hey, it works for this particular application right now. I do have a Spectrum voltage capacitor hooked up to it to keep it all happy, so keep that in mind if you happen to have one of those. On the flip side over here, I ended up going with the Castle Sidewinder 3, fully brushless. Obviously, it's a sensorless setup. I'm running only 2S on this thing, and you'll see I have the wires all looped around right now. This is not going to be the final electronics that is going to be set up for this vehicle. I'm waiting for those to come in right now. But this thing at way under $100, not way under, but right under $100, you can't beat it for a brushless setup. Now the other thing with this, it is fully waterproof, so I happen to be going through water. It's all cool. Everything else is pretty much waterproof at this time. On back here to the motor, you'll see there is the Castle 1406. This is the 5700 kV. Super nice motor, nice and smooth. No complaints on this motor whatsoever. Really happy with its performance so far, and it stayed pretty cool so far as well. You'll notice here I chopped the antenna way down, and there was just no purpose for it being huge and through the roof. I basically left it the length of the stock HPI receiver, so that is all good now. It's kind of tucked out of the way there so it doesn't protrude outside of the body. Now the rear, you're going to take a look at the rear diff now. There's not really much to look at, but it is fully locked now. I went ahead and pulled it all apart, cleaned all of the grease out, and I ended up just hot gluing it now so that the rear is fully locked. And you'll see here nothing spins the opposite way anymore, so all is good there. We'll see how long that lasts. It should last me pretty good for the amount of torque that I'm putting through this system. As far as other modifications, that's basically it. I'm pretty happy with the way this thing is performing so far. I have lots of other things that's planned for this particular vehicle, including a counter steer setup. That's all on the way. I have lots of other upgrade items that's flowing in here. I have a whole hex crew set also coming in here to get rid of that pesky Phillips hardware, and we'll kind of take it from there. I have new bodies, I have lighting, I have wheels and tires for that particular body. So there's going to be lots of different updates to this vehicle. I'm really having fun with this thing, and it's fun just to find a nice little patch of concrete and just have a fun for a few minutes. As far as the Lipo that I'm running in this, and you'll know that if you have a Sprint 2, you can't run just a standard 1/10 scale battery in it. It needs to be thinner, so I'm actually running this thing. This is a Sky Lipo 4000 milliamp 2S Lipo. 40C continuous is the rating on this thing, and it's pretty thin. I mean, this thing measures in right about 21 millimeters in height, which fits in there perfect. So your typical ones are about 25 millimeters and higher, and what happens is the front drive belt actually ends up hitting that thing. So anyways, that's the battery I'm running. I'm pretty happy with the performance of this thing so far. It's the one that was in stock that I could get the quickest. So anyways, that's it. I think I've covered about everything. Please take a look at the video description below. There's going to be links to how to lock your rear diff, how to make your tires here, and I have a few other things that's going to be included in there on future video releases. Also links to all the parts that I've used so far too. So if you want to take a look at that, please do so. But that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, part of the HPI Sprint 2 Get My Drift video series. Any questions down below, and as always, thumbs up and subscribe. That's it for now, guys. Over and out.